Let's talk about Kafka and Bowen, though. We got to ask if they're going to stay. And, it's one of those scenarios now where someone's going to take the fall for the season, I think. Kafka has been quite the scapegoat for Brian Daboll, I feel like, this time here. And not fair at all what's happened to him. I've said it on the show multiple times. He has a good season in 22. Daniel Jones plays his best he ever played with us. We had, like I said, wide receivers coming off practice squads, like Isaiah Hodgins and being, stars in the moment, so to speak. We had so many issues with the roster, it was pretty obvious, but we kept them winning gritty, close games. We go ahead and we get a little bit of a rough patch, a game and a half. We get destroyed by the Cowboys week 1. We're losing to the Cardinals week 2. And then all of a sudden, the play calling changes, everything goes great. And we find out then that Daboll was actually play calling. And since then, it was give him the ability to play call. Take it away. Give it to him. Take it away. Give it to him. Take it away. And this whole year, he didn't have the ability. And this offense was not good. I can't blame this on Kafka, though. It wasn't his offense. And there were so many puzzling calls, it's not even funny. He should have had the ability to run the offense. But he was got to take it away. Now, we know last year he interviewed for multiple head coaching positions. As we mentioned earlier, he's going to interview this year also. He's going to, at least for the Bears position, they're going to interview him. He might get a job somewhere else as a head coach. Who knows? It depends on, what available options they are. And as he mentioned earlier, he would be a minority hire / interview. So, you got to wonder if that's part of why he gets some of the interviews. I hate to say that. I really do. But, I don't want to take away from what he's done in this league. But let's be honest, you have the worst offense in the league, and you're still getting interviews to be a coach. So, but I don't know what happens with him. I know last year he wanted to interview with the Seattle Seahawks to be their offensive coordinator, and the Giants point blank turned that down. I'm curious to see what happens this year when the head coaching circles go around and all that is done. What happens? Because, one of the things John Mara did say today as well is that he strongly doesn't want Daboll to make the play calls anymore. He wants him to focus on the head coach, the CEO position type of thing, control the team, that kind of stuff, and let their offensive coordinator do the play calling. Like I said, Kafka was a better play caller. We had the most success with him. And if we keep him, he deserves a chance to go ahead and be the play caller again. He really does. As Rob comes back here. So, he should have a chance to get that job back because he never should have lost it to begin with. It should have been treated like a toy you give and take away like that. Oh, you're on mute, Rob. You muted yourself. You got to unmute yourself. There you go.
You lose a few games. You lose a few games, in the 2023 season, and pretty early on, they take away his play call.
Yeah, I said it was 6 quarters into the season.
I mean, I know they questioned some of the play call before, but Daboll, instead of Daboll taking over as the OC while doing the head coach job, maybe you should have team meetings, not even a full team meeting, a one-on-one with Kafka and go over play call. That's how you're supposed to lead a coach.
People?
Yeah, actually try to develop. Hey, I see what you're doing here, but maybe try this. I understand you're trying to do some kind of setup where they're not going to see a play coming, but you can't do this play here because this is what's going to happen. This is what you got to watch out for when you do that.
Crazy talk.
It's nuts. Crazy. But it's amazing. They got just as many wins in the Cavs 1 year as calling the play callers as when he wasn't.
Yeah, like I said, it's
who was wrong.
The whole thing is absolutely crazy. It really is. And then you got Shane Bowen. So as much as Mike Kafka has been, let down by Brian Daboll, Shane Bowen was let down by Joe Shane. We talked about it before. He got him edge rushers. Okay, he got him Burns. He got him, Thibodeau in the draft beforehand. He had Dexter Lawrence already, so we had a decent setup for a pass rush there. We were leading the league in sacks at one point in the season. Couldn't stop the run because the defensive line was never established, besides Dexter Lawrence. Couldn't stop a receiver because we never got a legit corner in this place. I'm sorry. Signing at the last hour, Adoree Jackson is not solving the freaking problem.
No. Who we let walk away. I mean, granted, we got him back for cheaper and probably if we would have re-signed him. But there's a reason why we're like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And it's just okay to pick him up again. Just didn't make sense.
To me, the whole scenario, I mean, even like, let's say cutting Nick McLeod. Like, we cut Nick McLeod because we, we're trying to save a couple $100,000. Nick McLeod was one of the better corners we had. That's not to say he's spectacular. He's one of the better corners we had in this roster, though, for outside corner. And he had the versatility because he's played some at safety as well. You can put him in nickel and dime packages and move him around.
Yeah.
Like, that was a guy you don't cut. But we cut him to save a couple $100,000 because of the salary cap issues. So you literally handcuff this man every single chance you got. And then you're like, do what you got to do. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Like, we've all had that boss at one point in our life that gives us no support whatsoever. And you call up for advice and help even. And they're like, well, you just figure it out.
You just got to figure it out. Yeah.
That's what I feel like is happening with Shane Bowen and the Giants.
I had a boss like that in a previous job where he literally let his other managers, like his supervisors, just run the show. Like, hey, this is what you got to do. Granted, like, we were like top 5 in the company a lot of times. Yeah. He would give props to us, but he'd be like, be a hard day. He'd be like, yo, man, I need advice. What can I do with this? You just got to figure it out, man. Got to grind.
Yep. That's what I feel like is going on. Like, I know a lot of people, I know it's not a popular take to be a fan of Shane Bowen right now. I know it's not. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, Shane Bowen's defense was bad and blah, blah. Like, I mean, to minimize, like, again, we can have different opinions, but it's like, what do you want him to do with what he had? Like, before all the massive streak of injuries we had, guys, we were an average team as far as giving up points. Now, did we give up a ton of yards? Yes. Did we give up especially a ton of rushing yards? Yes. I could not give 2 damns how much yards we give up. I'm going to tell you that point blank. I do not care how many yards we give up. I cannot stress that enough. I care about how many points we give up. And we were average in how many points we gave up for much of the season until the rash of injuries where I stopped caring as far as where the rankings was because it didn't matter. That wasn't the defense anymore. That was what's left of the defense, if that makes sense. So we're basing an average defense playing alongside the worst offense in the entire league. And yet, for some reason, there's a big part of the fan base that I feel is like, let's get rid of Shane Bowen. That was a bad hire. He was supposed to fix the run. He can't fix the run.
Without the personnel.
Like, would you give a contractor a big old thing of Play-Doh and tell him to build a house?
No,
that's what I feel like we did here. We're going to blame the guy who can't get it done because he doesn't have the necessary equipment to do it. He doesn't have the tools to do it.
Yeah. I was literally going to say, like, it's like if you work in a restaurant and your Pepsi guy comes in and you ask him to get you a bottle of Chianti, he's just going to look at you like, you have to drink something else.
Yeah. So I do like a good bottle of Chianti.
With a liver and some fava beans.
Okay, Hannibal. I'm just saying, like, you guys, like, you got to keep this in mind. And again, I don't mean to, like, be rude about it, but I feel like there's a little bit of education needed to be in this whole thing because it doesn't matter how many yards. It doesn't. You can give a running back up 300 yards. If the team scores 14 points and that's it, your defense did the job. Your defense did the job. And it's not your fault that your offense scored 6. Let's look at the Falcons game. I'll use that as an example because it was a recent game and I went to it. So I saw it in person there. you literally saw the offense gave up 14 points. The offense almost gave up as many points as the defense. And people were flipping out about the job the defense did that day. I remember people in the post game and stuff like that. I'm in the car driving back to my family's cabin, and I'm hearing people go, "Oh, this defense, they gave up 34 points. This defense can't do it." Are you freaking kidding me?
Did you watch the game?
The 2 pick sixes, that goes against the defense, I see.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting there harping on this because I'm saying Shane Bowen is the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's not what I'm here to say. But what I'm here to say is we haven't given the man a fair shake. And if you're going to sit there and judge him based on this year, then it's an issue there. You got to give him the tools.
100%.
You can't take the hammer away from the carpenter and wonder why it's not together. That's what you did. So, like I said, I'm wired up today about this too. You can't tell. I'm wired up.
I was gonna say you're
firing
all cylinders.
Yeah.
How's that Mountain Dew?
Had some Fireball. No. Actually, I did have some Winter Jack. So that's it. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Listen, I think all Giants fans are drinking today. It's just what it is. It is what it is. So, but yeah, if I had to put money on it, I honestly think both of them will be coming back. And I think both of them will be coming back mostly because of the fact that nobody else is going to want the job. Like Deb mentioned that they put feelers out for head coach. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wants that one. They definitely don't want this.
No.
They definitely don't want it. And the only way we lose one is if, let's say, Shane Bowen says, hey, listen, Vrabel's going over to New England. He really wants me to go with them. Would you guys release me? And that does happen in the NFL sometimes. And I could see that as a potential. I could see Mike Kafka also asking to go somewhere as an OC. These guys aren't stupid. They know damn well that not good. It's not good. Like when you see yourself lowering by rope into a pot of boiling water, you don't just sit there like a crab and go, do, 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 do. Like, you're like, get me out of this. Get me out.
Yeah, it's like the Titanic is sinking. Do you just stay on the boat or you jump in the life? Excuse me. Whew, in the lifeboat.
You're allergic to Daboll.
I think so. Oh my God. It's Shane. Whew.
But I feel like we're in a scenario where these two both could see that, and we could be stuck with Shea. I don't mean stuck like they're horrible people, but they're not who we obviously wanted to do the job, or they'd have it already. We could have Shea Turney as the offensive coordinator and Jerome Henderson as the defensive coordinator because we just need to fill these spots. That's a concern. That's an issue.
Yeah.
So.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.